Hello and welcome to another edition of the Eternal Journey. I'm Resolves and this is the ETS Xenan list I'm considering taking for this weekend's event. So this is pretty much the stock Xenan killers list. We do have some slime spitter slugs in the sideboard for all those pesky TJPs, but just in the main deck I did make a couple of changes based upon that deck. So we have the full suite of the Blistersting Wasps, as well as the cheeky little 2-off with the Scorpion Wasp here. And for sure we can get blown up by Equivocate, but you know, I feel like the turns where your opponent just slams another unseen commando to get in with a bunch of damage off a shelter wing, you're just able to trade 1 for 1 there, and that's pretty nice. So for the most part, the deck is pretty much the same as what I played last week when I was trying out with the Brushstalker, but I think playing Brushstalker right now is probably a little bit risky if your opponent's able to bounce it with cards like Stand Together and Finest Hour. So I'll perhaps save that build for when people move back onto the sort of unitless or very unit light removal piles. So of course we've got the Sandstorm Titan back as well, and with the Dark Return, hopefully this is going to keep us with enough Sandstorm Titans just to sort of keep those flyers on the ground where we're able to decide that we can block them. And you know, the Sandstorm Titan is a reasonable body and it's able to put a real big clock on your opponent if they're just playing like undercosted for the size units. The Obelisk as well does break open a lot of mid-range mirrors where it just makes your stuff bigger than their stuff, even though you're both playing the same stuff, as well as it having a couple of nice side effects. Like if you're able to get this on the +2/+2, or just have a couple in play when you've got cards like the Scorpion Wasp or the Blistersting Wasp area especially, then it's really difficult for your opponents to try and break through for damage. And of course just having a huge lifestealer with the Ayan the Abductor, or just a huge Overwhelmer, because the Dawnwalker Overwhelm is pretty good against Praxis tokens decks. We're able to give this kill and just bring it back every other turn just to machine gun your opponent down. Okay, well, we know this deck, so let's get into those games. Okay, well, we're on the play, which is a great start. This hand doesn't really want to see an Obelisk for this hand. I like the Scorpion Wasp and the Interrogator, but the Predatory Carnosaur is a little bit of a way away. I'm not sure I'll draw that later on in the game. And this hand is the worst, I think. Our opponent's got an Echo card, so we are probably dead. Well, let's get the Amber Monument down first, just because I'm so far away in regards to power that I'd much prefer just to get it down and then hopefully be able to find a Shadow Source, turn this into our 4th power, and then get the Blistersting Wasp into Obelisk and get the initiation not long after that. Okay, well, we've definitely been punished by Mulligan in here. It's okay, our opponent's playing the Heart of the Vaulted Carrier deck, which we're probably pretty dead to, but we get to do this. I think next turn we're probably just going to have to Vara's Choice our opponent just to see what exactly they're working with. Now the Rune Hammer's pretty nonsense there, it's not going to do too much against us. And I'm not worried about our opponent's 5s, so I guess we just Sandstorm Titan it down. Next turn we're just able to Obelisk plus the Vara's Choice, because our opponent's 6-drops are pretty good. Well, new plan. The Obelisk is going to be a lot worse here. But I don't want to feed up units, so let's choice, see what they've got. So no valid cards. That's not what we want to see. Sort of not really happy, but just sort of have to take my 4 again. I'd like our opponent to play Rise to the Challenge so we're able to stab something up with this Vara's Choice. I plays down be a 2/4, we can make it a 3/5 killer. And that at least means that our opponent has to play another spell to try and kill this if they want to get in there with the Rune Hammer. Lucky Desert Marshal comes and gets us. Do just have a 3/5, but we should be able to keep this hammer in check now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if our opponent had any carry, they would have just played it. I suppose we're playing the Carnosaur out. Gobble up the 2-1, yeah, got me. We can get pretty ruined here by a harsh up. Looks like our opponent's maybe just flooding here. So Plaz does to 10 our opponent. And if they do make an carrier, and just hoping it's going to be surviving, we should be able to deal with it with the cards we've got in play here. Well, Ayan Abductor is going to be good, because we should be able to catch this by surprise. I think I'm just going to see what our opponent's working with though. So we've got no valid cards here. Well, let's get rid of this. Get in for 7, and then we get to surprise this in if there's any sort of nonsense going on. But for now I'm happy just to 11 our opponent. Of course it would have been lethal if we'd chucked it down. So that was definitely a mistake, we could have just had our opponent dead. Well, it looks like our opponent's just super flooded out here. Yeah, we got there anyway, although we did make a mistake that could have cost us the game there. If our opponent just like... I mean, I suppose we're sort of insulated against harsh rule because we'd have the Ayan, but if our opponent just harsh rules and then has an answer for the Ayan, then we'd be in pretty gross shape, especially if our opponent's just able to channel like Heart of the Vaults, well, chain, Heart of the Vaults and carriers. Okay, just 1 power, so easy redraw. We really want to be finding like 3 to 4 power just to be able to go off here. I'm really overly impressed by the Twinbrood Sauropod. Especially against like a Felon opponent, we should be able to grind them out with that. Also got a reasonable answer to champion as well as the Feast Caller here, because we can just snap in the Scorpion Wasp, and Feldex have sort of gone down on cards like Death Strike and Annihilate in favour of just playing in Cold Blood and Feeding Time. Well, this could be Scream, which is going to take out Obelisk. But I guess if we're playing a Scream, we're going to Vara's Choice him and see what they've got for us. Just a Direwolf Beast Caller. So we're not in too rough a shape here. And we can also just ambush the Direwolf later if they've got any other copies because we've got the Ayan. So we're just going to set up with the Dawnwalker here. We're not super far away from just being able to rebuy it with the Twinbrood Sauropods. I'd have really liked to have kept that Xenan Obelisk though. But for the most part, it doesn't really matter how big our cards are against what our opponent's up to. So I suppose we'll just flash in the Ayan. Or the Scorpion Wasp for our opponent's able to like discard and Haunting Scream a Gorgon Fanatic.
You will feed the darkness.
Well, more than happy to attack for the 4 there. I'm just going to play the Sauropod down this turn. If our opponent levitates the Gorgon Fanatic, that's fine because I'm just get in for a bajillionty. And I think next turn, well, this turn is going to be the turn where we fetch up the additional time source just to be able to rebuy the Dawnwalker if we need to. But more happy just to attack for 9 with the guys. Keep the Ayan back, and then if our opponent does play a Levitate or just like a removal spell on the Ayan, we'll just be able to chuck in the Scorpion Wasp and get them. We could also just attack with the Ayan as well. I think we will. Yeah, if our opponent trades, that's sort of fine for us as well. Because then we are able to get the Haunting Scream play. Although, we do this, we've just got so much in play that if our opponent, even if they do Scream, with the free power that remain, if like we assume they draw a power off this play, that they're very unlikely to be able to deal with our board because they don't have anything in play. So they won't be able to combust or anything like that. So they'll just take 14 and die. Being a big and dirtly sort of time deck is pretty rough to play against all the cards that our opponent can have, like the Madness, Devour, Combust. Oh, our opponent's managed to save themselves here. But our opponent can chop the 2 5/5s, but we still have the... Getting it for 4 here. I think we've just got so much in play that we could probably just sit back in the Scorpion Wasp. Although I'd also just like to make sure that it's really dead. So let's do this. This is fine, we'll take 5. Opponent needs to ideally combust this to do anything. Devour's not really going to do it. Yeah. So I managed to get there. Opponent sort of stumbled and we were just able to be aggressive enough. Okay, well the influence is a joke because we don't yet have a crest. And this hand's not much better. Because it's basically a 5 power hand, and the only thing we've got going on is Blistersting Wasp into the Interrogator, and we're in the draw. So we really need an Obelisk. So, well, we've got the Dark Return, so our opponent might be gracious enough to... Well, let's grab a time source here. Our opponent might be gracious enough to kill our Interrogator, and then we're going to be able to start going off and drawing some cards. We are quite power flooded, but hopefully the Auric Interrogator just can trip in later in the game. Should be able to help us out a little bit. Get him. Go on, kill my thing. Feeding time, that's not fair. Why'd you kill with something else? Well, Twinbrood Sauropod's probably going to do the job with this Dark Return, so reasonably happy to have potentially flooded here because we're just going to be able to play threat after threat for the next couple of games, well, next couple of turns. Hopefully we're not playing against Unitless. I'm pretty much off that deck. But I'm pretty sure that people can't really play that right now because Svetia is running around. So I'm hoping for more hard removal and none of this feeding time nonsense. Just so we're able to get some sick value off this Dark Return. I'm sort of tempted to get the Predatory Carnosaur down because I feel like this is a deck that's not going to have killer targets. That just gives them something else sweet to kill for us to Dark Return back, though for the most part the game plan is just going to be get back as many Twinbrood Sauropods as possible. Oh well, you might be sorry about using all those feeding times, because now Dawnwalker's here to play. So it's this again where we're just looking for an Obelisk really. The initiation's fine as well. We know that our opponent's not going to have any targets for our killer, but it's just to get a +1/+1 on there. Okay, well, that's also fine. Could run that after damage just to sort of guarantee the forward damage. I'm pretty sure they'll just banished in combat anyway. I'm going to save the Vara's Favour for later, because we can't do much with it anyway. And it's got a full board, and our opponent's going to be in a lot of trouble because this sort of unitless faction combination doesn't have harsh rule. Straight in the Shadow would have been really good, but I think that's not very much in favour for a lot of players. Okay, well, as much as I love double Obelisk, it's a little bit less impressive when you're just buffing up a Blistersting Wasp. So let's redraw that, although you could be forgiven for keeping that because the influence was great. You had quite a lot going on actually. This sounds a lot worse. We do have to play the Amber Monument down just so we have the influence. And hopefully we'll just get to be a really hateful deck here with like Vara's Choice into Scorpion Wasp and what even better, Ayan the Abductor. Let's see what we got. Well, Walling Joe, goodbye. So I'm curious what kind of deck our opponent's playing. If they've got that many cards in hand and the only unit was Walling Joe, okay, it makes sense now. So it's primarily Carrier. Well, probably going to be flashing in this Ayan. Just ambush at end of turn. Although I could also just keep this just for a post-harsh rule. I've also got the Scorpion Wasp and the Predatory Carnosaur for later on if our opponent is playing the Ikari around. But this does represent a lot of damage against our opponent. Because then we're able to get like 6 damage in, maybe with 9 before our opponent's able to harsh roll. And our opponent's also got to deal with the Sandstorm Titan here. And now I think might be a point where we keep up the Scorpion Wasp. Uh-oh. Maybe it's a new plan playing the Xenan Obelisk. Because I'm pretty sure our opponent got a Rune Hammer there. So if we Xenan Obelisk, they're not able to Rune Hammer the Titan. And they don't have enough power to be able to deal with both of them. They're no longer able to torch our Ayan. So they have to Rune Hammer to kill the Ayan, and then a Sandstorm Titan gets to kill the Hammer. And maybe this is just enough to prompt them to do the harsh ruling. Here it is. But if we draw undepleted power now, then we're able to get in there with the Twinbrood Sauropods. And sell we did. So now I suppose we are going to see the Rune Hammer come down. But that's the point where I'll just ambush in the Scorpion Wasp if that's true. Yeah, I'm not playing this as a non-surprise, so sadly I've missed. Let's kill the 7-5. Unfortunately, our opponent is probably going to be able to play the other one down, and then he'll have power up by the time we are able to Scorpion Wasp it, which isn't great. I'd realistically like to be able to find a power here, but I'd also be happy with a regular Wasp. Just be able to Xenan Initiation it up. So opponent is going to get to have 10 War Cries here, which is going to be absolutely absurd. And there's the die show. But this is sort of fine, because this means we're able to kill the Ikari. My opponent's got a torch and the game's probably over, because our opponent's got like a million War Cries. I'm just going to take 8 from this die show. Now, let's try this again. So we do get to take 8 from the die show again, which is not a very nice position to be in. I feel like we really need to find that power. Our opponent must be rising for whatever's got the War Cries as well. This is just going to be an Iron play just to kill the die show, to gain a few lives. But if the Warcry landed on an Ikari, or well, opponents just fetched an Ikari, didn't care about whatever the Warcry had a bunch on. And yeah, this is just dead. So this is like a problem with just not having crests, is that your power base is just going to be a little bit worse, and you are going to plug and screw just a little bit more. But fortunately in the next set, all of those are coming, so give our opponent the old GGs and move on to the next one. Okay, well, I run the draw here and the hand stinks, so let's redraw this. It sounds a little bit better because we're going to have the influence pretty much covered for quite some time. I've been interested with perhaps doing a build, maybe this will have to be after the next set comes out, where we had Umbran Reaper with killer effects. Okay, so Piercing Reef Desert Marshal, well, I mean, I suppose it's, even though our opponent's got a million of them, I suppose it's the Piercing Reef because Desert Marshal isn't really doing anything right now. Like, for sure it can turn our Scorpion Wasp into a 1-1, but I don't believe after you block there is like an opportunity for that to be good. And if our opponent gets to like silence this now, then it's still a reasonable body. It's going to be a 2-4 in the next turn, and that's pretty good against the deck comprised of 3-1s and 2-1s. The opponent is pretty much struggling on power here. Well, Obelisk into Obelisk is probably going to be enough to do the job, really. We like Obelisk as a card because, like, if you flood on power, it still does something, but if you flood on units as well, you just get so much more value. Especially in like loads of small things like Wasps. Opponent just desperately needs to find some shadow sources though, because I'm going to assume the deck is built around having the Shadow Revenge units like the Stone Powder Alchemist, as well as a Piercing Grief and maybe a couple of Mactos. Oh, there we go, so they found it with a Seek Power. Well, let's Vara Stress again, see if they've picked up a Macto. It's just Piercing Grief and Desert Marshal. I suppose we'll get rid of the Piercing Grief just so they've not got any sort of revenge going on. So it could very well have been a mistake and I should have saved that for like when Macto is actually in play. But Macto in play is quite a while away. As long as we like hit some power here. Yeah, let's get this Obelisk down. Should be able to gobble up a Macto anyway just because we do have the Predatory Carnosaur, which is going to be an 8/8, which is pretty huge. Now if it gets dealt with, get to Dark Return it and do it again. Second Sight's a great card as well, but sometimes you have to use it for not value, and it never feels great then. We're almost using the Trailblaze to bottom it, so they've just built themselves a Strategize.
Make each bullet count.
Yeah, that's Carnosaur, let's get out of the way. Could have also just made a Scorpion Wasp because the Wasps are free freeze now.
Think you can escape me?
Yeah, good stance by the opponent. Especially into the Harsh Rule because it's going to stop us from getting as much value, but if we just got like Twinbrood Sauropods then we'd be in excellent shape. I think we'll still get it just because it's really big.
Another late night.
But I'm also willing just to chuck the Scorpion Wasp out as like a build your own dragon, because if we draw a power, this here is going to be a 5/5. Whoop. Well, sadly, just a 3/3 for now. So this is something that there's some sort of Harsh Rule in our future again. Yep. But hopefully just keep grinding through these. It's pretty rough to grind through stuff when your opponent does get to Dark Return Destiny units. But they do only have like 4 copies of Harsh Rule, and I'm not too concerned about what units I've actually got because there's no crown in play, so it's just like relatively generic sort of revengey stuff. Well, I guess that changes that a little bit. I think I might get the Blistersting Wasp, so we've got two units in play this turn. Also flying, so we'd get to have invasive beaters on the next turn. Reclaim's certainly an interesting card though. Well, I'm happy just to chuck in for our beats. We're going to outrace this slightly. Did it keep on top? So maybe we shouldn't play the Sandstorm Titan. Well, it's just managed to jump ahead in the race because of the Piercing Grief. But at least because of the Varas, then they should have a bunch of bricks in their. So chunking for 5, keep the 4/6 back. Should have a bunch of bricks in the deck because they've got some silenced Piercing Griefs in there. That might draw a Dark Return. Yeah, let's blockade in case we've got Dark Return. Don't just want to get shot again with the Snowplow Alchemist quite yet. Let's get there for 9. Opponent is going to get to gain some lives because of the Predatory Carnosaur attacking the lifesteal unit. But it's still lethal. Opponent does need to deal with our board, so hopefully we just manage to fade the harsh wheel for a turn here. Dark Return Snowplow Alchemist is going to gobble us again for some lives.
Another late night.
There we go, the old bricked 3-1 Piercing Grief.
Your time is far from ended.
Not sure how much I like this in the deck that's built around Dark Return and other sort of nonsense stuff like that. Just chucking your entire void into your deck, but I suppose it's got a bunch of other nice applications if you are playing Crown as well. So, well, I suppose that's enough talking about. Let's just get in there for 15. Alright, give me the old GG's. This deck was actually super interesting there, and I should probably play something like that, give it a try. Okay, well, another redraw here just on the single influence. It sounds not great, but we get to finally turn the Amber Monument into a unit. So let's grab some time sources, because we should be able to get enough shadow just with these Vara's Favours. Well, that's slightly more exciting now because we are able to go Interrogator into Obelisk. So assuming that our Interrogator gets to survive for the turn, there we do get to cantrip it and just draw a card deeper into our deck. I'm just going to attack for 4 here. So don't want to just get like entrapmented then. I'd much rather just draw my card. Because opponent just sees a 4-power unit coming in, they might not bother using the entrapment because they want to see what else we're going to be playing. So we'll lose 1 point of damage, and often 1 point of damage can cost you the game. Okay. Well, we get to do this. Grab all the time sigils we need. Plot another Interrogator, and we get to draw 2 cards. And then we should have a 7/7 Predatory Carnosaur because we've already got a Obelisk in play. Wow, okay, so our opponent's doing this. Yep. Please don't kill us. So I can double block this, and I think that's what we'll do. Our opponent's going to be unlikely to be able to deal with both of them there. So have to be on like some weird Finest Hour Desert Marshal deck. Okay, well, this can get silenced by a Desert Marshal. Looks like they've not got it. Could get entrapmented here, but we seem to have somehow managed to grind through the Marshal Line for Behemoth package. We're going to get Carnosaur back.
You cannot put out the light.
But we also get to do a bunch of stuff here. So our Sauropod is going to be real big. Get to turn this into a 7/6. Yes, I'm not going to kill this yet. Next turn I'll set up with the Xenan Obelisk and then kill this. I've got plenty of ways of just dealing with the Dawnwalker over here. Dawnwalker Mystica Senate is not quite the combo you're looking for. And I imagine they kill the 7/7 here. No, just going for the actual straight up gobble. And that's fair enough. So we've got +2/+2 in all of our units now. I think we're just going to make the Renac just so we actually get to trample some damage over. Also, just having big overwhelm units is great. And this really leave our opponents being pretty dead next turn, because we'll just have a 10-10 overwhelm.
Your power flows
through. Okay, well, let's get them like this.
Thank you.
Okay, so it doesn't actually get to turn off our overwhelm there. But still, just chumping here isn't really getting you anywhere. I don't want to play the Obelisk first because they were pretty much dead anyway. Much rather just be able to reload with stuff. So, who am I attacking it? Yeah, kill the 6/6 just because that gives us... Well, it gives our opponent only one draw step. Then now if this, we get to flash in a huge Ayan, because I believe Ayan's going to be a 7/7 hit, so we get +4/+4. And it looks like it was correct to kill the Mystic Ascendant there, because we would have got to draw a bunch of cards and have the power to play it.
You will feed the darkness.
Okay, well, I suppose easy for us. We just get Vara's out of the way and just gobbling for 1,000,000. But really hard fought by opponent. So nice to see like the Voda combo style deck still going up, because I do really enjoy the playstyle when we get to go off. Okay, so that was the ETS deck list I was considering bringing this weekend, and that was the Xenan list. I'm still a little bit torn on this, but I think I'm probably going to stick to Archpot just because I know it better. But I was really impressed by this deck, of course. Not having a crest really sucks because you can just have worse power base than everyone else that you're playing against, which just isn't fair. Although you still get to play the Amber Monument, which is pretty great. And I do really like having huge overwhelmed bodies because it just means that chump blockers is not going to do anything for you. And when we're often able to just put our opponents in the abyss with our huge units anyway, then I like just being able to get that little bit of extra damage in, just win the game. I think I would have perhaps liked a few more Z-initiation effects, so maybe just like 1 or 2 Twilight Hunts in there, especially if we was going to start playing the Willbearer Behemoth. But of course the Twilight Hunt's still good with Twinbrood Sauropods because it's so cheap, so on turn 6 you can sort of build your own Predatory Carnosaur, but it's slightly better with Dark Return because you're just going to draw more of them. But this deck's sweet. I really like the inclusion of the Scorpion Wasp as well. Just late game it's a dragon with a couple of like Xenan Obelisks in play, and early game is going to keep you alive. And against a carry decks where you draw the correct power, then you should be able to just 1-for-1 cleanly answer in a carrier. Okay, so thanks for watching. I've been That Resolves, and this was the ETS Xenan.